He's like, she's like that on paper.
She thinks she is. Hi, my name is Judy Dawson, and for those of you who don't know me, I am Director of Administration here at the Kane County Sheriff's Office. And prior to COVID, if you ask me what I do, I would tell you that I help our detainees get training so they can find a job and not come back to jail. But Kane County, like many other counties throughout the United States, is experiencing record unemployment. And the sheriff of Kane County serves everyone. So we are turning our focus out to the community as well. So we provide forklift driver training and OSHA training, and we've even started a job board for everyone in the community. What's different about our job board is number one, it's free. Number two, it's background friendly, open to everyone. And not only do we help people find jobs, but we help people with their barriers to employment. A tacky resume, housing, transportation, childcare. We connect them with the resources as well. So check out kanesheriff.com for our job board. Like us on Facebook, and we're just happy to have you here. Johnny Knox again.
I'm sorry.
We're questioning, this is our second Zoom call, and we're questioning, that's the lovely Sandra Harrison. But without further ado, I would like to introduce Sheriff Ron Hain.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining in to get your profile rocked. And like Judy said, that is still her job here. She still does serve the detainees in the jail. But we're really excited to kind of expand what we do into the community. And it's all about building better relationships with our citizens. So public safety, your sheriff's office should establish positive relationships with our citizens, no matter what demographic they're in. And this is just one big part of that. And Corey Dixon, I do want to thank you for wearing your winged backpack today. That sheriff star behind you looks awesome. That's the way he looks every day, guys. It's like a backpack that he walks around with at the office. But I actually might have to make that for you, Corey, because I really like that look. But excited that everybody's tuned in here. We're always amazed and humbled by the community engagement that we get. And to see this many people on the call is just incredible. So enjoy it and rock that profile, guys. Take care.
Hey, cool Senior. We're here for Judy Dawson. We all love her.
Judy, too. I completely understand.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Ron. And without further ado, of course, thank you, Corey. He is the Zoom master today. And I would like to introduce the lovely Avis Wright. And I had the honor of meeting Avis a few careers ago for both of us. And thanks to Brad Trawick introducing us and telling me later that Avis is now with LinkedIn and you have to see this Rock Your Profile. And Avis was so gracious, and she trained our interns and my staff, and I wanted to share it with you and the community. So without further ado, Avis Wright.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys so much for hosting this and having me. I am so grateful to be on a call with so many people in the community. This was the perfect time for me in my life, in the week. Everything's been so crazy. So to have a moment to spend time investing in other people is always something that I really appreciate. And it really is all about building relationships. So I just want to welcome you to Rock Your Profile. This is a program that LinkedIn has designed to help educate our community, our members, our customers, our nonprofit groups on how to build a profile that is a professional and digital story, a portfolio of you and your message and your vision. So I'm so thankful to be here. Before we get started and kick things off, we're all living in this virtual world, and I love to see the faces. I understand if, sometimes we don't have our best face on or our lip gloss on or whatever on, so our cameras are off, and that's perfectly fine. I'll turn my camera off as we get into the presentation. But I do want to take a moment just to get a sense for how everyone's feeling this morning. It's Thursday. It's a week from Thanksgiving, and there's so much in this time to be thankful for. So I just want to kind of get a feel. If you're familiar with Zoom, there's some reaction buttons at the bottom, and just give me a thumbs up. If you're feeling great, a hand clap. If you're just, really, really excited, if you're dying laughing over something, you're crying laughing over something, just give me a reaction. I just want to know that everybody's engaged as we get moving and we get working this morning. So wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to put my little heart up because, like I said, I'm really, really grateful to have built relationships that have taken me from Brad Treywick to Belinda Treywick, the Treywicks who I absolutely, absolutely love, and then have introduced me to such incredible people like Judy and then Corey, and to be in the midst today is something that I'm really, really grateful for. So again, my name is Avis Wright. I'm an account executive for LinkedIn in the Chicago office. LinkedIn has a couple of different lines of businesses. I represent sales solutions. We work with companies to train their sales teams on how to use modern selling techniques to connect to their buyers. And that's just a little snippet of what I do. But my passion is really giving back to the community because, as it's been said already a couple of times this morning, it's all about building relationships, and we don't get anywhere in life on our own. And so being able to build relationships at scale and showing other people how to do that and represent themselves in a way that makes that process easier is something that I'm super passionate about. And so this morning, we're going to walk through the LinkedIn Rock Your Profile, because I want to just share with you some information that could help you in terms of improving your profile so that you prepare and position yourself to connect to the right people for the right reasons, and whatever those reasons might be that are important to you. So I'm just going to share my screen here and we'll dive right in.
Avis,
Yes.
before you begin, I have a couple of housekeeping things that I just want to get out there for everyone who has joined this morning. If you have a question, please drop your question into the chat box, and I'll make sure that we get your question answered. If you are unable to drop your question in the chat box, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask if it's, go ahead and ask your question. So this is meant to be interactive, but I just want to make sure that everyone's questions or concerns are answered. So please drop them in the chat box if you can. If not, then go ahead and raise your hand using the reaction, and we'll make sure that we get to you. All right, thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you. And keep me honest, because as I love to talk, ask Brad, I love to talk. So if I'm just talking and I'm moving forward and there's something that pops up that doesn't catch my attention, Corey, please let me know, because I want to make sure that we get those questions answered. And I also want to say, I don't know all the answers. So, I'll share with you the information that I have and certainly follow up with you to make sure that we get your questions answered. So as we get started today, I want to just share with you what we're going to cover. We're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn so that you get to know the platform and why you should really engage with LinkedIn. And then we're going to hop into creating your story and your profile, what that means in terms of your own digital portfolio. We'll go beyond your LinkedIn profile, and I'll show you some other ways that you can engage on the platform. By all means, ask questions as we go forward. There will be a time for a Q&A at the end, and then we'll do a wrap up, okay? So diving right in, I want you to get to know LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really all about building relationships. It's about your professional community and helping connect you to opportunity. So I want to share and give you guys an opportunity to take a look at some of our members and a little bit about their stories.
I started off as an outsider, and in this industry, it really is about who you know.
The restaurant business is a tough business. I've been up here and I've been down here too.
It is hard to find your footing. So you need people that you're close to help guide you.
I think about how important it was for me to have the role models that I've had.
Look at that.
There have been a lot of friends and clients that have supported me, especially since I started my own practice.
I wasn't able to get there alone. He essentially plucked me out of obscurity.
He's the one who said, hey man, this is your life. This is what you need to do.
Nobody can do it alone. The more help you can get along the way, the faster you can achieve your goals.
I don't know, I enjoy the work enough that I get lost in it.
If I do anything in this life, I just want young people to feel empowered.
I'll just pursue my aviation goals, whatever it takes to get there. I'm in it to fly.
To help people achieve their dreams.
To tell stories that matter.
To celebrate good food.
I'm in it to speak for those who cannot.
Whatever you're in it for, we're in it together.
So that was just a look at some of our members and what their stories are. I think the overarching theme is that we are in it together and you don't get anywhere on your own. When we talk about LinkedIn, we definitely have a vision, and our vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Our vision is so powerful. It's something that we're so super passionate about doing, which makes opportunities to really give back and impact members of the community so special. But our vision is also followed closely by our mission. Our mission is to connect the world's professionals, to make them more productive and make them more successful. And so when we look at our mission, we wanted to make sure it was something that was actionable, something that is measurable, and something that can be realized, as well as inspirational. And so when we talk about our vision and our mission, it really impacts everything that we do at LinkedIn. And so you may be asking, well, okay, why LinkedIn? What is LinkedIn? Who is LinkedIn? And all of that great stuff. So we're going to dig into that too. LinkedIn is all about connecting to opportunity. And the way that we do that is by being able to leverage powerful data. When we look at LinkedIn and we have an ability to do an economic graph, what we see is that we have over 700 million members that are utilizing our platform globally. These are individuals like yourselves who have profiles and who are active and engaging on the platform. We also represent over 50 million companies all around the world. And these companies are posting jobs, they're posting skills, they're looking for people, and they're also looking to create their own marketplace, find their customers as well. We also look at the skills that we've highlighted. And in terms of the skills that we featured on our platform, giving people an opportunity to upskill. If you're going back into the workforce, if you are just starting out in the workforce, if you're looking to make a pivot from your current position and look at going into a total different direction, there are skills that we feature on our platform, as well as over 90,000 schools. And when we talk about the number of thought leadership that is shared on LinkedIn, it's really incredible. We're talking about feeds that are posted and featured from people who are in all industries and all walks of life, who are considered leaders in their segments. So that's just a little bit about why LinkedIn. Just to put a button on it, LinkedIn is the most dynamic and the largest network that's active and living of professionals, businesses, schools that exist. And so there's a lot of data that can be leveraged from that. But what does that really mean to you? It's about understanding how you can engage with all of that goodness and do so in a way that represents you in your authentic self. And so that means it's all about your profile and it's about your own story. And so when we talk about how do you rock your profile, what we're trying to understand is, how do you create the best digital portfolio for you? And so I want you to think of your profile not so much as your resume, but I want you to think of your profile as more of a dynamic digital portfolio that's there to engage. It should be visual. It should highlight your experiences and your skills to help build your professional presence and connect you to the people that can help you get where you want to go. So with that, I'm going to share some tips and best practices that can really help you rock your profile, and some things that are pretty common sense and some things that maybe have a little bit of a nuance that I want you guys to use and engage in order to create the best profile for yourself. Number one, we are all visual human beings, and it really does start with a photo. And let's also be clear, a photo of you, right? We want to make sure that we have a representation of you. It doesn't have to be a professional photo. I happen to know a really great photographer who got a really great photo of me. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm very direct in what I'm looking for. I told this guy, look, you got 5 shots to capture what you need to capture. I've got no time to spend, smiling. And so he was able to get a really great photo. But you know what? It could be anything. It could be a picture of you in front of a neutral background. It could just be something that you take or have someone take of you. But the one thing that I want to point out is, please don't let it be taken in your car. I've seen so many people who you could tell they took that picture as they were sitting in their car, and you see the seatbelt strapped across their chest. It just makes me laugh. So what I want to encourage you to do is take a great photo. People who have their photo posted on their profile get 9 times more connection requests. Their profile is viewed more often, and they also get more messages. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and it's always great to put a picture with a name. And so make sure that you add a great quality profile picture. The other thing I want you to do is to add the industry. So adding your industry is really important because oftentimes it helps others find you and add you to their professional network. So if you're in computer software, or if you're in sales, or whatever you might be, if you're an entrepreneur, members with industry information are discovered up to 38 times more than other members. And so think about, if you're heading back into the workforce, if you're looking to make a pivot in your professional career, recruiters are looking for this information. And this is a great way to get yourself noticed. Now, a summary. I want you to draft something that is compelling. I know we've all heard of your elevator pitch, your 30-second commercial. I want you to put something together that's brief and to the point, but that it's compelling about your experience. It should include an introduction to you. It should also highlight your accomplishments and even your aspirations. It's that thing about, ever heard of the acronym KISS? Keep it short and simple. Or keep it short and sweet, or keep it short. That's the whole point. Be brief, but make it good. You don't have to list all of your career accomplishments. We have a section that gives you the ability to really expand on that, but highlight your unique talent and how you want to contribute. This is a section that gives people more color about who you are as an individual. And so it really should speak to your individuality and what makes you unique. Detail your experience, you guys. And when I say detail your experience, I want you to think beyond what your title is, okay? Oh, it looks like there's a question. Hey, Corey, can you help me with that? There's a comment, I think.
Let's see here. Actually, I don't see any questions.
Okay.
That was from For me, I'm sorry, do you have a good example to share of a brief story to tell?
Sure. Are you talking about in your
Yes, something so that we can have a good idea as to what is a good one to kind of shoot for.
Absolutely. So when we are done with our session, I'm going to send you guys a one-pager tip sheet that's going to give you some examples of all of these things so that you can then start to craft your own. But this is a really good example here. It just says, as a sales leader over 25 years, I'm passionate, right? Again, what are you passionate about? What speaks to you? My sales organization is focused on delivering excellence. And I believe that culture and talent help us bring our mission to life. So again, it's about your experience, what you're passionate about, what you feel your organization does or what you do better than others, and then speaks to who you are as an individual and what your mission is. So it's that elevator pitch, and I'll definitely share some examples with you guys when we're done in the resources.
And Avis?
Yes.
Will you be also able to send this out to everyone in the group?
The pitch, the actual deck?
Yeah, the slides. We have a question. Yeah, they're asking for the deck to the group.
Okay, sure. I can make that available to you guys.
Thank you.
If you send it to me, Avis, I will get it to everyone on the call, okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
So detail your work experience. Work experience is great because work experience gives people an indication of what you're capable of doing. But don't just think of work experience as the titles that you've held. Think about the skills that you've acquired, whether it be through organizations, whether it be through what you've done at your church, what you've done in your community. Those are all skills that people are looking for because they really want to understand what you're capable of doing. And so if you've worked for a startup company or a smaller company, something that maybe isn't well known, you might also want to give a brief description of what that company did or what their mission was, just a little about us on the company, and then detail what you did and why you were effective. People who have detailed work experience get 5 times more connection requests, and their profile is viewed more often. The other thing I would encourage you to do is if you've had a long, rich, beautiful career where maybe you've had experience with a lot of different companies, it's okay to list them, but I would really talk about those experiences that may give you an advantage. And I would really then provide more detail on those. So if you did, I don't know, if you worked abroad, but maybe that was 10 years ago, still talk about it, put it on your profile and talk about those experiences that really set you apart from others that are out there. This is one of my favorite sections because you can add examples of your work. Remember, your profile should be something that's engaging. It should be something that's visual. And you want to give people different forms of engaging with your profile. So it's not just about the written word, it's not just about your picture, but you can also post rich media. And this could be a short video. Say if you're a business owner and you've got a short commercial about your company, this is where you want to put that information. Let's say you've got a white paper, or you've got information about what's happening with a particular industry that you are considered to be a thought leader. You want to add all of this information to your profile. So upload your presentations and your videos and your photos, and you want to make it dynamic, so that all different types can engage with your profile. Volunteer experience. We live in a time where we understand that oftentimes what someone does is just a part of who they are. And what they do as a passion, maybe something that they don't necessarily get paid for, is a bigger representation of who they are. And so think of your profile again as something that tells a comprehensive story about you. And so the volunteer experience is so, so important. And you want to make sure that you put your volunteer experience in the appropriate section. I often see sometimes maybe people who have been volunteering for an organization and they put it up in the experience section. And sometimes it can get lost. And so the volunteer section is there so that you can highlight those examples. Again, you can use rich media and photos, any type of video presentation or anything, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to help connect people into what you do and into what you're most passionate about. So think about all the ways that you can get that accomplished in the volunteer experience portion of your profile. Skills and endorsements. This is something that I don't think a lot of people pay enough attention to. And I understand that when you're looking at your profile, sometimes you kind of just stay at the top of what you can see, and maybe you skip over this. But this is something where you can be very proactive in getting others to endorse you for the things that you do well. And so you can endorse other people as well. So when you are on LinkedIn, and you're going through your, you can add new skills, but then there's an algorithm that gets built. And so as people are going through the LinkedIn and they're going through their feeds, they will see opportunities where they can, endorse Judy for leadership or endorse Corey for management. And I encourage you, when you see those opportunities, to endorse the community that you're connected to, that you engage and you do that, and people will do that for you as well. The other thing that I think is important is to look for opportunities to get recommendations. And so we'll talk about that as we move on. But I want you guys to understand that there's a certain level of reciprocity that goes along with this, right? So be willing to endorse others and you'll get endorsements. Be willing to recommend others and write recommendations for others. And you can also be proactive in collecting recommendations for yourself as well, which is this next section. And so oftentimes I think it's so good to hear from other people for a number of reasons. Number one, I think sometimes don't realize the impact that we've had on others through our work with them and through our relationships with them. And so it's really, really awesome to get a recommendation from someone that gives you a different perspective on the impact that you've had. It's also really good because you can give recommendations and you can really share some positive feedback on someone and what they've done in their relationship with you. Recommendations are great. I think the thing that maybe some people are a little bit concerned about is getting a recommendation that maybe you don't agree with, or getting a recommendation that maybe doesn't give the information that you want shared. And so when someone gives you a recommendation, there is an opportunity for you to request an edit. There's also an opportunity for you to talk about, what you'd like someone to share. And I think that that's so important. And you can accept the recommendation and it will immediately be added to your profile, or you don't have to accept the recommendation, depending on what they said. But I'm sure if you selected someone or someone gave you a recommendation, it's for a very good reason. And I would definitely want to highlight that on your profile. Choose people that you worked with closely so you can provide specific examples. I think that is so important. And be very strategic, especially if your purpose is to look for a new opportunity. Or maybe you're a business owner and you want to connect to a customer that you've helped. Have a conversation so that you can make sure specific examples of your strength and your skills show up in that recommendation. And here's some other things that you don't want to forget about. Your location. Your location is important. And I know in this virtual world, there are a lot of people who are working from home and, maybe location isn't as important right now as it once was, but your location and proximity does matter, especially if people are looking at you, if recruiters are looking at you. Education. Education is important. And the other thing about education is you want to be able to connect with other people that went to Bradley. Is that right, Brad? Yes. Or that went to Clemson University. You want to be able to connect to people that share in common experiences as you. So make sure you add your education. Anything you've published, anything that you've authored, make sure that that's a part of your profile. It speaks to everything that you've done. It speaks to your skills, and you want to highlight those things and your accomplishments. Those things are important as well. And so don't forget about those as you start to build and craft the best profile that's out there. So I know that was a lot. I just want to check and see if there are any questions, if there are any comments at this point before we move into the next section.
Looks like we don't have any questions at this moment, Avis.
Okay.
Okay,
great.
Thank you.
So when we talk about, the building your thought leadership, I think it's important that everyone understands, again, this is a platform for you, and it's there to tell your story. And so when you look at your story has a voice, and that voice is something that you want to represent on the platform. And so we're talking about in this next section, your voice on LinkedIn. Now, there's so many things that you might be familiar with in terms of publishing content on LinkedIn and sharing updates across the platform. But what we're trying to really accomplish is helping you grow and engage in the network. So once you've developed a great profile and it's available and it's something that should be dynamic and you should take a look at, I would say anywhere from 6 to 12 months, right? But your profile is there. And so that's going to tell be your portfolio and tell your story. But now we want to focus in on how you can really grow your voice and then engage your network. And so we're going to be talking about things like updates and publishing. The first way to share your perspective is really quick, and it's high touch through updates. The second opportunity is to explore a topic in more detail through publishing. And so you may be asking, well, what's the difference? Sharing updates is just a way for you to quickly share your knowledge and your perspective and your insight on something that you care about, okay? Publishing content is a way for you to explore a topic by writing about it in like a long form post. And so I really think that it's so incredible in this digital world that we all have a voice and we have a platform to share it on. And I think that that's something that you should really explore. You're all experts in your fields. You all have a perspective that deserves to be heard. And these are quick ways that you can do that. So to get started, by sharing a status update on your homepage, you'll see the share box at the top when you log into LinkedIn. And there are a couple of things that can help your status update stand out from the crowd. Make sure that you share your authentic voice. And we see a lot of this now on the platform. Our engagement on LinkedIn has increased 900% since mid-March. And we understand people are at home and we're sheltering in place and being safe. But lots of people are engaging more because they want to speak out on certain issues. They want to speak out on thought leadership. And they're looking for ways to share their authentic voice. Posting frequently. So if you're someone who's trying to engage your audience, you might want to consider a posting schedule. maybe once or twice a week, you decide, look, I'm going to post about these things and I'm going to find content that's relevant and content that really says and speaks to what I want to say. So by sharing frequently, you really create opportunities for you and for your content to be discovered. And like I said, once you have like a posting schedule, just add a reminder to your calendar to post something. You know, that's really kind of the best way I handle tasks. Just add a reminder and make sure that you're sharing. There are a lot of interesting there's a lot of interesting thought that's out there. There are a lot of interesting ways to engage with people. So really make sure that you're intentional about what you want to share and how often you want to share. And then start a conversation. Post something quick that engages your professional community. I also think it's great to ask a question, you know, post a question, engage people and try and capture, you know, their opinion about something. Provide your perspective on current events or an article or something that gives an insider point of view. When you're posting, include media. Again, we're all visual, and I would say our attention spans are pretty short. And so you want to use something that's going to quickly engage people. And then create an opportunity for reciprocity. When you're posting a status update, think of things that you can share that will benefit your professional community. This also goes the other way. Use your status update to post a question or to get insights from those people who are people that you care about, you know, people that share in the same industry or share the same profession with you. So now that we've talked through some best practices about sharing updates, let's talk a little bit about publishing on LinkedIn and how I think this is a really great way to share your unique voice.
Avis?
Yes.
Before we move on, we have a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
All right, this question is from Kathleen Burley.
Hey,
And she says, if I am writing blog posts for our website and I want to share, do I publish those long form or do I share in an update as a link?
I've seen it go both ways. I think more frequently, I'm seeing a lot of people share it as a link. And so I think that does a couple of different things. Instead of sharing long form, it also gives you the opportunity for someone to then go back to your blog. And maybe they subscribe.
Great, thank you. A couple of more questions. This is from Maureen Gassick, and it reads, I have 2 different careers and currently have them together on my profile, fine arts and business professional. How would you handle this? That's a great question.
It is a great question. And I would say without knowing a little bit more about the 2 of them and definitely, hey, you guys, here's the other thing. If you want me to take a look at your profile, I will. Just connect with me on LinkedIn, right? I think it's great to have everything that you're passionate about. If you have 2 careers or 3 careers, as long as you're clear on them, I'm sure there's a way to make it clear to everybody else. I think that what you're going to find is most people these days are managing 2 separate careers or 2 professions. And I also think we should stop thinking of them as 2 separate things. They're two separate things, but I do them all, right? So it's more of a profile about who you are and not so much about these separate things that you do. It's a comprehensive portfolio of everything that you can offer. And so there's creative ways to make sure that everything is listed. I would say it's great that you have them all in the same profile. That's exactly how it should be.
Very good, thank you. And a very similar question, lastly, how do you share your side gigs?
Mm-hmm. So your side hustle, right? I love a good side hustle. And the thing I think is most important is, again, it's on your profile. It should be a part of your work experience. And I think once it's on your profile, a great way to promote that or to get engagement on that is publishing, posting, the things that we're talking about now are going to help you create that audience and create the engagement that you're looking for. Now, I think sometimes when we are, let's say we're trying to hide our side hustle, okay? Sometimes that might create some I guess, some confusion, right? But hey, put it out there. I think we all have something that we're working on in addition to everything else we're doing. And I think that a great opportunity to let people know more about that is by presenting yourself and positioning yourself as someone who is an expert in whatever that may be. And so you want to post information, you want to publish information on LinkedIn, you want to create articles and become an author and use that as a way to promote what you're doing on LinkedIn.
Very well. Thank you, Avis.
You're quite welcome. So again, publishing content is a great way for you to explore topics that matter to you and that share your experience, that share your side hustle and everything that you're doing and all the insights that you have with your professional community. When you publish content on LinkedIn, it does become part of your profile. So it does get shared with your network and it can reach the largest group of professionals that are available in any one space. So once you've published content, people can follow you to stay on top of what you're saying and everything else that you're posting on LinkedIn. So again, this is a great way to engage people and actually get the word out about all the incredible things that you're doing. So when you're publishing, you want to start on your home page. You're going to see that little thing at the top that says start a post. And so similar to sharing your status update, it's very simple to get started. You can select write an article. And you guys, an article doesn't have to be your dissertation. Okay, so don't be afraid, don't be intimidated to become an author on LinkedIn. It's an incredible thing. You can pick topics that are simple. It should be something that you feel you have something to say about, obviously, and that you can use your authentic voice. But it's a great way for you to connect, and it's a great way for you to engage as many people as you can. Best practices for publishing content. With anything, you want to create a headline that captures attention. You want to include a photo, so something that stands out. Can't stress the importance enough about being, in your authentic voice and using your own authenticity to promote your passions and your missions and your endeavors. Think about your audience and think about the people that are going to be reading this and target your message to the folks that you want to impact the most. And also remember, this is not a dissertation, right? You want to make sure in this time where attentions are small, that your article is enough where people don't have to make that decision if this is a 3-minute read or a 5-minute read. And if it's more than a 5-minute read, then maybe I won't read it right now, which means I might not read it at all. So make sure your article is short and very compelling. And then track your progress. You can click on View Stats button within your published article so that you are able to pull analytics, and it's going to help you target the professionals who can benefit the most from your perspective and from your expertise. And so you have the ability to track how your message is landing and how it's engaging other people. All right, I'll stop there before we go on and see if there are any other questions, or maybe this section has created some additional thoughts for people of things that they would like to do. And if you're willing, I'd love for you to share that with the group. Okay. Again, you guys, I think something as simple as, writing an article about the 5 things that you learned during the pandemic. You know, it's something that isn't really that intimidating. And it's something that, again, can give you a platform to really start to engage more people. Um, if you are passionate about your community, you know, you could talk about Kane County and some of the things that, you know, you have engaged with, or the things that you would like to bring to the community. And that's a great way to encourage people to follow you and enroll in your thoughts and your ideas. I think we have a comment.
We do. This question is from Maureen Gassett, and she asks, is it similar to Facebook where if you look, well, if you like, it gets less activity, or if you comment, it helps boost analytics?
So I will say that I'm not exactly sure, because when you talk about similarity to Facebook, I'm not really sure exactly how that works. But what I will say is this: there's a lot of different things that you can do to increase visibility or increase engagement using things as simple as hashtags that are common, that align with your message. I think is something that is very important, because people will set hashtag searches where they're looking for content that's appropriate to that hashtag. I also think, and Corey, can you read the question again about the like part? I wasn't sure I understood.
Yes. Is it similar to Facebook where if you like it, it gets less activity, or if you comment, it helps boost analytics?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't, okay, I think I understand now. I wasn't aware that's how Facebook works, but okay, great. So actually, when you're publishing content and someone likes it, what's going to happen is people in their network will see that they liked something, that they liked it, right? So what you're doing is you're reaching people who may not be in your network, but they are in the network of someone that's in your network. So they're a friend of a friend, right? And so as they are in their Facebook, or I'm sorry, in their LinkedIn feed, and they're seeing articles that you've posted and they like those, now people within their community can see that activity. And that might encourage that person to say, you know what, let me take a look at this article and see what's going on.
And Avis, while we're on that subject, can you speak a little bit about posting, the frequency of posts, content, over the number of posts? Can you speak to that a little bit?
The frequency of posts versus
The frequency of posts versus the content of the post, meaning, you know, some people post a lot of content every day, while others, you know, can't do that or won't do that. And then some people post every day and the content isn't really that strong. So what is the best use of post, and what kind of content should you be using? Should you be posting, and should it relate to, you know, your profession, or should it just be more of just as a blanket and a whiteboard that you can post anything?
Yeah, I would say that the integrity of our platform is so important. And I believe that the integrity of individuals is even more important. And so when you're posting for posting's sake, I'll call it, I don't know how that serves you.
Mhm.
My opinion. I think that everything that we encourage our members to do is to provide value to their community. Because again, if we go back to the vision and the mission of LinkedIn, it's all about connecting people to the individuals that can help them reach their goals. And so that's something that I feel like you should be able to bring value to those individuals, and you should bring information that compels them to help. And so therefore, posting for posting's sake is something that I would stay away from. I would say if there is if you're very intent with reaching a large audience, or in growing your engagement, that people are quite sophisticated, right? And I feel like I am more inclined to engage with someone where there's information that is of value. And so I would encourage you to if the frequency is something that you want to work on, still have really great content, right? I think the content speaks to your credibility. And if you need help with frequency, maybe you take a Sunday or a Saturday and you decide, I'm going to post something of quality on Monday and I'm going to post something of quality on Wednesday, and I'm going to figure out what those things are now and then simply post them, right? I feel like that's a better approach, or setting a task to do that is a better approach than just posting for posting's sake. Yeah, I hope that helps. And we have another comment, I think.
We do.
Okay.
Can you schedule a post?
Can you schedule a post?
Correct.
No, I don't believe you can. That's a great question. I will follow up and find out. That I don't know.
That would be nice.
It certainly would be, right? It would definitely help you in terms of managing your strategy for reaching and engaging with more people. I'm sorry, yeah, I don't know that question, but I definitely will get back to you.
Yeah, and just to add to that, not the same platform, but Facebook will allow for you to schedule a post if you create an individual page. So it does happen in social media. So, but the powers that be, Ava, so maybe you can, make it work if they already don't have
Oh,
it.
sure. I'll call Ryan Roslansky as soon as we hang up.
Avis, it's Sandra Harris, and I just kind of want to jump in here and say that yes, you can. There are a couple of third-party, I guess, partners to LinkedIn that will allow you to do that, to schedule your posts.
Okay, great. Sandra, do you know what those are?
I will try and look them up right quick and get them in the chat, but I don't know them offhand. I'll try and take a look.
Yeah, you could.
And Sandra,
you could use like a Hootsuite. That's a free scheduling tool as well.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, there's 3 that I saw.
Each other at the jazz brunch.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying, I'm offline conversation. I'll hit you up later, don't worry.
And yes is the answer, Avis. The answer is yes.
Okay, I thought so. Okay, great. Thank you, Judy.
You got it.
Awesome. All right. Any other comments?
Well, I just want to bounce back a little bit. It's Sandra Harrison again, and say that I really appreciate when you invited us to present our true, authentic selves on LinkedIn. I think part of the problem, certainly mine, is I'm always looking for this professional, as if I don't know her, to marry this career and that career, and what do you put, and how do you get your side hustle in there? And you have 50 years. Well, I just aged myself. You have all these years of experience, and you want to use that to create a really powerful profile, but you suddenly feel like there aren't these authentic things about yourself that should go there. So I really appreciate you inviting us to handle it from that perspective.
Absolutely. I think that that's one of the things in terms of my own journey and transformation. I feel like I've come to terms with who I am. And, I feel like what I bring is of value in every capacity that I have, right? And shame on me for not sharing that with individuals in a way that truly speaks to my experience, my level of professionalism, my level of hustle, my level of everything, right? I think that we're in such a time where that is that's such a value to find people. That you want to share that with others. You want to share that and get it out there. Put it all in there, right? Because I just feel like that's who you are. And that's what you want to represent on this platform.
I totally have a question to follow up with that. Good morning, everyone. My name is Veronica Harris, and I am an independent journalist, and I have a few clients on here, including Sandra Harrison, also my mother. I wanted to ask, when creating your LinkedIn profile and your online profile, period, something that I can speak for a lot of millennials is that there's such a hard time creating this balance, right? You know, we are parents and we enjoy hip hop and we enjoy shopping and looking fancy and we enjoy, you know, making our money and being professionals. And so I often find myself trying to strike that balance and be myself, my authentic self, but not scare away my professional colleagues. So if you can give any advice to that, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Veronica. Like
Sure.
I said, that's something that has been a huge part of my own personal journey and transition over the last 18 months. And what I will say is, I think it starts with just understanding that none of those things that you mentioned about yourself are in opposition of each other. None of them are.
Interesting.
Being a
Gave me goosebumps,
professional,
Davis.
That's an amazing statement.
That's an amazing statement. It's all me, right? Now you're gonna get me arguing with my mom on here because I tell her this all the time. It's so true. It's almost as if we try to separate ourself from ourself, and that's insane.
Team,
Yeah.
don't indulge her. Don't let her do that. Don't let her record it.
Thanks for
Don't
helping my
indulge her.
argument, Avis. It's been like a 10-year argument with Sandra.
That's a great point, Avis.
That is
Thank
a great
you so much
point.
for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Yeah, those things they're part of who you are, and you're just, you know, representing that digitally on a platform. And so, you know, it's something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, and I can, you know, personally I have as well. And it's like none of those things are in opposition of one another. They're all a part of who I am.
Yeah. Avis,
Yes.
we have a couple of questions,
Sure.
and I want to encourage everyone to continue to ask their questions. If we're unable to get to your questions in the chat, Avis will share her contact information and you can reach out to her directly. But I'll try to get as many questions as I possibly can answered during the session, as we're bumping up close here to time. Okay, so the question, Avis, from Miss Erica Franco is, if someone has been working for a company, let's say 15 to 20 years, would you advise them to include their dates of employment on their platform, especially when considering moving into a new career field? Excellent question.
That is an excellent question, and the answer is yes. Yes. And here's the other thing that I find oftentimes when you've been with a company, you know, 15 years, sometimes even, you know, a year, you might have had multiple positions and had multiple roles and responsibilities within that company. And you want to highlight all of that. And so on LinkedIn, you have the ability to do that in a way that will show that you've been with that company, but you've held multiple positions. And I would encourage you, especially having such a long and beautiful career, I would encourage you to think about all of the things that you have gained. Like I think of it as like a set of steps, right? All of the things that you've gained as you've been stepping along and up in that company and in your career, and highlight those things separately, right? So you know, I relate everything to sales because that's what I've done my entire career. So coming into my career, I was in inside sales. So it was a lot of customer service and selling and very transactional. But as I moved into the field, I picked up skills about, you know, building relationships, understanding how to be more strategic in my account planning. And so you can start to, you know, you can start to create that picture and tell that story of all the skills that you've acquired during that time. But definitely indicate the dates that are applicable.
Very good. Thank you, Avis.
Oh, great. Okay, so our last section is all about gaining knowledge and insight. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, we first started to talk about, you know, why LinkedIn, what's the big deal, building your own personal digital portfolio, using that to then engage and find your community. And now we're going to transition into understanding how to continue to gain knowledge and insight using the platform. One of the best ways and easiest ways you can do that is just staying connected to the companies that matter the most to you by following them. right? I would say, I think earlier I showed you the slide that said there are over 50 million companies that are out there on LinkedIn who have their own company profile pages. And so, following companies helps you stay on top of news. It helps you stay current. It helps you stay on top of trends, new things that are coming out, new product launches for that company. It's such an easy way for you to remain current. And so, in addition to following companies, you can gain insight by following influencers. So, Bill Gates of the world, Oprah Winfrey's of the world, Deepak Chopra, all of these individuals who are posting information that are relevant to you, either by industry or by trends or topics. But when you follow an influencer, you can see their activity across the LinkedIn feed. And then in addition to gaining insights on industry and then staying informed on what matters to you, you can also leverage LinkedIn to find, what you care about. And so LinkedIn has advanced search filters to help you find people or things that matter to you very quickly. So if you're searching for jobs or for companies or for even people, you can find those companies and people through filters so that you get relevant information and relevant search results. Okay. So we've covered, just following companies and influencers, plus being able to search and be very specific into who you're looking for. I want to talk about how to customize your LinkedIn experience through the feed. So you have control over your LinkedIn feed. Okay, I'll say that again. You have control over your LinkedIn feed. And so we want to empower you to consume content that matters the most to you. And you can manage your feed preferences by clicking on those little three dots that appear at the top of any post. And you can select improve my feed. You can follow or unfollow companies or influencers. You can hide posts that aren't even relevant to you. And so you have the ability to make sure that what you're showing on your feed is something that's knowledgeable, that's impactful, and that's going to mean the most for you. You can also report things that are inappropriate. So if content is inappropriate, if you ever see anything, you can flag it, and then our team will pull it out of the feed. Okay. So I know we're running up against time, and I think there's another comment that I want to make sure we get an opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, from Brad Treywick, the question is, if you can get, what is the best way to handle requests? So I'm assuming that he's asking requests on LinkedIn to professionally connect. And how do you go about selecting people to allow into your network, seeing this is not Facebook?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I'm going to stop my share because that was the end of my presentation. I'm going to turn my camera back on. Okay, thank you, Brad. This is a really great question and a great way to kind of put a cap on things. Because again, you're right. This is not Facebook, and absolutely no diss to Facebook. I'm on Facebook way too much, but you can be very selective. And I encourage not only our individual members, but especially when I'm working with companies and their sales teams, I always encourage people to be very selective about who you are allowing into your network. I think LinkedIn is a great opportunity to connect with people, but it's about connecting to the right people. And there are algorithms that are in place that will say, you may know this person, or, this is someone you may want to connect with, but that doesn't mean you have to, right? And so I field a ton of connection requests, and I generally ask myself, first of all, I look at how they might have found me. And I look at the people that we have in common. And so if I see someone, let's say that also knows Judy Dawson, that's somebody I need to know. Okay, so I'm gonna connect with them, right? But I look at it and I evaluate it in terms of who are they, and why are they connecting with me? And I will say I scrutinize that, because I think in this day and age, it's important that your relationships matter. And if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I see someone in your network," or "Hey, I need help with something. Do you know of anyone?" I want to be the person that connects them to the right person. And I want to be able to look at my network and say, "Okay, yeah, I know Sandra Harrison, or I know Corey Dixon, or I know Belinda Treywick, and this is what," and I know them. I don't just remember them or like, like I know them and I know this person can help this other individual with whatever it is they need. And I want to feel comfortable in either picking up the phone because I know them so well, or sending them a message to say, "Hey, I want to connect you with this person," right? And I think that that's the power of building relationships. It's not so that you have 17,000 connections. It's that you have connections that you can call on and connect people for the right reasons. And so not to say that that can't be built by getting to know someone that you don't already know, but it's okay to scrutinize your connection request, and you don't have to accept them all. Believe me, I don't.
Very good. And from there, I think that was the last question. Oh, hold on. I think there's one more.
Okay.
It's from Judy. How do you, Judy, go ahead and ask your question. What is she doing?
You see how he treats me, everybody? Just so you know, these are my days, okay? These are my days.
Not even Friday. That's not right.
Way to go, Corey.
Her name is on the flyer. You in here, type it in. Go ahead and speak. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Judy.
How do you spot suspicious people who want to connect? Any characteristics? I got someone who there's no reason in the world why this woman from Dubai needs to connect with me.
Right.
That's how you spot them.
Hey, I'm in law enforcement now, so I have to be suspicious. But I'm quite sure there are other things that are red flags.
Yeah, again, I think if you kind of get that sense, if you have to ask yourself the question, why is this person wanting to connect with me? That's probably a good indication that you don't need to connect with them. Or, you can also look at their profile and determine if there's any reason why it would make sense for you to connect with them. And if not, then don't. Yeah.
And we have a couple of follow-up questions to that. Well, actually, well, no, that's not a question. That's more of a statement. And then someone was just chiming in saying, "Yeah, I agree." Like, why would you do that? So they were just in agreement. And the other question is actually shifting gears a little bit. And I think this is also a very, very good question as we find ourselves in this pandemic. The question is, how do I manage my work experience section when I am in between jobs? And what is the best way to write that in and saying that I'm looking for a new job?
Thank you so much, Maureen. This is a great question. I think that there are a couple of different things that I would suggest. So LinkedIn in the middle of the pandemic has designed lots of different programs for people who are in search of a job or have been impacted directly by the pandemic. And so there's this little tag, you may have seen it. It's called Open to Work. And so it's a little wraparound that's green that goes around your profile picture that will indicate to people that you are open to work, meaning you're in search of a new opportunity. Okay. And so when you talk about managing your work experience section between jobs, I think the thing to think about is if I'm a recruiter, what type of skills would I be looking for the job that I'm hiring for, right? So if you want to find a job in sales, I would think ask yourself the question, what type of skills would a sales recruiter be looking for? And those are the things that you want to highlight in your work experience. You also want to make sure that you have checked out the jobs portion of LinkedIn. So at the top of your LinkedIn profile or your feed, you'll see a couple of different things. You'll see something that says jobs. In that section, you can indicate to recruiters that you're looking, right? You can also save jobs. And what it will do is it'll build an algorithm for you based on jobs that you have saved with jobs that are open that also match up with the jobs that you've saved. So it starts to do some thinking, for you in conjunction with your search. The other thing I would encourage you to do is to make sure on your profile, we talked about the skills section, endorsing skills, saying that you have those skills. Make sure that those skills that would be that would align with the job that you're looking for, that you've added them to your profile, because recruiters are looking for certain skills and you want to make sure that they are on your profile. And that will also help you in the job section, because you'll be able to quickly see the skills that you have indicated you have versus the skills that that job requires, and you can see what the match is.
Very good. We don't have any other questions. If anyone has any questions that have not gone into the chat, please feel free to unmute yourself and speak now or forever hold your peace.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys so much. This has been a joy for me. It really has. And I love meeting people, seeing people that I haven't seen in a while. And so I really, really thank you for allowing me this time. If there is anything I can do, if you want me to take a look at your profile, if you have more questions or more specific questions that you just didn't get a chance to answer or didn't feel comfortable asking, please, please, please get a hold of me. If there's anything I can do to help, I am all in for that. So thank you once again, Judy, Corey, really, really appreciate it.
Avis, would you mind email in the chat?
Sure.
And Avis, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. For those of you who I encouraged to attend, I think I put a few 25-cent wagers out that you would learn something today, because I'm such a high roller. So I hope everyone benefited. But I want to thank all of you for joining. I will share the tip sheet and this presentation with all of you. If I don't have your email address, of course, please connect with me. And don't forget to like us on social media, and canesheriff.com for not only other information, but our job board. And may I share that the Kane County Sheriff's Office is hiring. So if you know of someone who would like a career in law enforcement, please connect them with us. It's on canesheriff.com as well. And thank you, Corey. You've done an excellent job, but ignore all of that job search stuff. Ignore that. So, does anyone have any questions for myself or Corey?
Nope, great job. Great job to all three of you, Avis, Corey, and of course you, Judy, as well.
Well, thank you for the intro. You made it happen. It's all about connecting, and that's what LinkedIn is. And may I say, for a couple of folks, and you know who they are, Maureen. It's so good to see you. And Sandra, 2 times in one day. And Jocelyn, and Jocelyn
Wow.
and her organization are on our job board as a resource as well. And you'll see, you don't see his face, because we keep him in the background, but Bill Woods, who none of these programs would work without Bill, because he's been here over 20 years, and you can ignore the job search as well.
Wow.
So everyone have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And my brother was on. I did not out him. But as he says, this Thanksgiving will be different, but it'll still be good. So everybody have a
There you go.
wonderful, wonderful day. Okay? And stay safe. Wear your masks.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.